Or how can you create and achieve any goal, result, or outcome that you want in your life? Well, I want to share with you in the next few minutes a very simple method that I've been applying lately and more effectively, and I've been seeing some remarkable levels of results. Um, you all understand and have an idea about the power of the mind. And over the last few years, I have spent more time trying to study the mind and study how it works. For a number of years, I've always believed in the premise that you have to work hard before you can achieve great things. A lot of what I've learned over the last few years has led me to the realization, but also the understanding that hard work alone does not lead to success. I love what Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich said. He said, if you think that hard work alone can create success, perish the thought. He says, hard success comes not through hard work alone, but from a state of mind and a definiteness of purpose. And that's what I want to talk to you about. How you create that state of mind that can attract what you want. Now, many of you have and are familiar with something called the law of attraction. It's a very, very popular law because it's one of the most important laws of the universe. And I love the laws of life. I call them the universal laws simply because all of the laws of the world are precise, perfect, and they're predictable. Now, there's a 3 P's you've got to remember. With laws of life, they are precise, they are predictable, can't even spell. So all of the laws of life are precise, they are perfect, and they are predictable. Now, why does this matter? And really, how does this help you even achieve your goals and dreams? I think this is where you must start from, recognizing how things work. Now, that's something I never really understood at a much younger age. I was one of those people who would, fire and then aim. But you've got to understand that sometimes it's important to aim first before you fire. And I believe that we've had over 7,000 years of recorded history for a reason. One of them is to guide us, to enable us make the right decisions in our lives and actually achieve what we want. I believe that there are 2 categories of people in the world. There are those who serve as examples in how they lived, in what they did, and their stories are meant to be used as a guideline to help other people achieve similar results. And there are a second category of people that we call them warnings or failures, people who perhaps made the wrong decisions. And in addition to that, their stories are meant to guide us on how not to live, but also how not to make similar decisions. And I think learning how things work is one of the best ways to start if you want to achieve any goal or any dream. For example, in any area or category of life, if you start with wisdom, trying to understand how things work, what you find is that the time you invest in trial and error and practice and correction is limited. Relationally, financially, business-wise, health, you don't have to fail your way to success. The whole myth of failure has to come first is not necessarily true. I believe that life is meant to be lived very easily if you understand how it works. And that the laws of the universe help you understand how things work so that you can obey the laws and succeed. And I believe success in itself, in any area of life, is so predictable that it's almost not as exciting as it should be. For example, I believe that success is like a science. There are laws, there are principles, there are rules. The laws, principles, and rules make the outcomes predictable. So, in any area of life, if you study the laws, if you study the principles, if you study the information, the knowledge, if you study from the people who have achieved that level of success, if you do what is necessary, you get the same results. It's as similar as a farmer putting in good seed in good soil. A harvest is guaranteed. Now, the law of attraction is something that you're familiar with. If you've listened to The Secret, you're probably familiar with the law of attraction. But here is where I want to take you probably a step further and share what I've been practicing. Now, I love teaching because when I see results in my life, I believe that I should share that knowledge. And one of the things I found through my experiences is that you never really get to enjoy anything in life until you share it. It's kind of strange, but it's also powerful. You never get to enjoy anything in life until you share it. You know, you buy a new car, you want to show off the car to your friends and your loved ones. You don't want to drive alone. If you drive in the car that you bought and it's brand new alone, you'll be miserable. You get a new job, you want to share the news with other people. You come on some good fortune, you earn some money, you want to take people out. You start perhaps toning your body, health-wise, fitness-wise, you're looking good. You want to share that with other people. Perhaps you also want to just maybe go out to a beach and take your top off and just show how well you've sculptured your body. But anything in life that is obtained, that is not shared, is rarely ever as rewarding as initially perceived. Now, although the law of attraction is important in achieving any goal, the question you should ask yourself, how do I set up this law of attraction? And that's what I want to talk about. Now, most people think about, just think about what you want and focus on what you want and you will attract it. I found from experience that's not correct. Now, I'm not suggesting that the law of attraction doesn't work. I'm simply saying that it's not. The sequence of events to attract what you want must be obeyed. And the law of attraction is not where you start. It's one of the paths that you have to pass through, but it's not where you start. Now, listen very carefully now, because to set up the attraction, you need what we call another law. This law is called the law of vibration. Some people call this frequency. Now, that might sound a little bit technical to you, but I'm going to make it very simple, very easy to understand. This vibration or frequency, we refer to that as feeling. Feeling. So if I ask you, how are you today? You may have heard people say, I don't feel very well. Or some people might say, I feel okay. I love what W. Clement Stone always said. He says, I feel happy. I feel happy. That's such a powerful statement. Now, feeling of happiness is simply your way, my way of describing in a way that we understand the vibration and the frequency we're on. It's that simple. There's nothing complicated about frequency and vibration. It's just a way of describing, we say, feelings. Now, to attract something you want, you've got to get the feeling. Now, this simply means that most people believe that the law of attraction is about focusing on what you want. Now, this will not work because what you want is always in what we call your conscious mind. But if you want to set up the law of attraction, you must set up the vibration. But the law of vibration operates on desire. And this is in the subconscious mind. Now, for some of you, I'm probably losing you here. So let me perhaps go back and talk about the mind very quickly. Your mind comes in two parts. There's the conscious mind and there's the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what we call your intellectual mind. And through this, you have what we call senses. We have taste, touch, smell, sound, and sight. All of these are gateways into your conscious mind. So intellectually, you use your conscious mind. Rationally, you use your conscious mind. This your conscious mind can select, it can reject. So for example, I'm walking down the streets and I see maybe a very not too good scenario of something happening on the streets, I can choose to look away so that that image is not fixed or transformed into my mind. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is what we call your emotional mind. And that's the reason why at the beginning I talked about feeling, setting up the vibration through feeling. This emotional mind is different from your conscious mind, that your conscious mind can choose or accept information. That's the reason why most people say, stand guard at the door of your mind so that you can reject something that you don't want in yourself or want in your future. You know, since you know, TV, what we call sensational information, the news media, they're talking about riots, deaths, it's all doom and gloom. You can choose by what you see, you can choose by what you hear, you can choose by the influence you have around you. That is how you control what comes into your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, doesn't have a choice. It simply accepts what you give it. It's like a soil. You put seed, it uses the seed you have, put it inside the soil, it creates a harvest. Now your subconscious mind is so interesting because what it also has, it cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. That's interesting. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined, meaning whatever you give your mind, subconscious mind, it will believe it and it will walk in that information. So to set up the attraction you want, you've got to first of all go away from what you want, because what you want comes up in what you say. Now think about this. You've heard this saying that what you say, what you do, speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. What you want will show up in your conversation, what you say, but what you expect shows up in what you do, which deals with your behavior, which deals with your habit and your lifestyle. You see, if you want to set up the attraction, it's not based on what you want. So if you think of something and you say, well, I want to earn £1 million, that's what you want. The question is, where is your desire? Because what you want is still in your conscious mind. You have to take this information and pass it to your subconscious mind, and you do that through emotions by getting emotionally involved with that idea. It will now create a feeling within you, and that feeling, once it starts to develop, gets lodged in your subconscious mind. Now, one of the things that is different between your conscious and your subconscious mind, and this is the key here, in your conscious mind, you're dealing with your senses, your natural senses. In your subconscious mind, and for you to create the level of success you want, you have to use what we call your higher faculties, which really is where the subconscious state comes in. And here we're dealing with imagination, will, perception, intuition, reason. Now we call these higher faculties, and that is what you use to create your dream. As a matter of fact, I believe that any goal, any desire that is selected without the use of the imagination very likely will not come to pass. Very likely will not come to pass. Now, by using your imagination in your subconscious mind, you can now create pictures of what you want. The more you emotionally see yourself experiencing those, feeling those, touching those. Now, guess what? Whilst you're creating that desire, you will be combining your higher faculties with your senses. So for example, someone might say, well, I understand how it works, but how do I make it practical? Let me give you a good example. Keep it very simple. Let's say you have a desire, you have a goal, and your goal is to have, you want a new car. You want a new car. That is what you want. You might go around and say, I want a new car. I want a new car. That doesn't attract the car to you. The only way it's attracted to you is first, you got to set up the vibration. You do that simply by getting emotionally involved with that idea so that you convert that idea to a desire. Now, how do you do that? First of all, you must say, okay, I want a new car. Yes. How do I get emotionally involved with the new car? First of all, I want to imagine that car. So I want to close my eyes and see myself in that car. Now, by doing that, you've activated the sense of sight. You might say, I see myself in my imagination opening the door of the car. I see myself driving the car. You're using your imagination, but you're combining your higher faculties with your senses. You might also say, I can hear the sound of the car. Now, guess what? You're starting to get emotionally involved with that idea. The more you impress that idea and repeat it and replay, that idea will move from your conscious mind down to your subconscious mind. As soon as it goes into your subconscious mind, now you're starting to create what we call the vibration, the frequency. Now, whilst you're doing that, you've got to understand that, you see, the universe is infinite, but you have to be definite. I'll say that again. The universe, some people call it God, some people call it spirit, some call it infinite intelligence. Now, I don't really mind what you choose to call it. It's infinite, but you have to be definite. You have to know exactly, precisely what you want. You cannot be vague. So saying I want a new car and getting emotionally involved with it, I can guarantee you of one thing: it will attract a car into your life, but it may not be the car you want. Now, how do you get exactly what you want? You've got to know what. Specifically, what would it look like? What model of car do you want? What year of make? What colors? How would it look? You've got to be so precise in defining exactly how it should look like, so that when you close your eyes and use your imagination, you can see the car so precisely that your mind goes to work. Now, once you've planted that in your subconscious mind, and every day you keep reaffirming and replaying through mental rehearsal, through replaying that picture in your mind, replay that picture through repetition, just keep replaying that thought and feeling. What you do is you set up the vibration will set up the attraction. Now, I'm going to say something to you here that I think is probably worth the entire session. The law of attraction is a powerful law, but guess what? It's incomplete. Now, every success equation has component parts. Now, listen very carefully. This is perhaps the most important lesson I learned over the last few years. Every success equation has component parts. I'll give you a good example. You have carbon, you have oxygen. If you mix one atom of carbon with two atoms of oxygen, you get carbon dioxide, CO2. That is a compound. Now, that compound is needed for life on Earth. You need carbon dioxide for plants, and we as humans, we actually take in a trace, I think it's about 1% or less, either 1% or 0.75% of carbon dioxide. We need it. But every living organism, we produce, release carbon dioxide. The plants need it to grow. So carbon dioxide is simply a mixture of one part of carbon, two parts of oxygen. Fairly simple. Now, if you were to take away one part of oxygen and decide to mix one part of carbon with only one part of oxygen, what you've created now is a different compound. The compound is called carbon monoxide. Now, I can breathe carbon dioxide because I need a trace percentage of it to live. But if I were to inhale carbon monoxide for an extended period, it will kill me. Why? Because I've altered the components of the equation. Now, success is also an equation. To achieve what you want, part of the success equation comes as E plus. Now, listen and watch this very carefully. A plus W. In other words, I think I might just change this to A here because that's really what it is. What am I trying to say here? The law of attraction is the law we know about. It's powerful, but it's not the most important law, because the law of attraction is preceded by the law of expectation. The law of expectation precedes the law of attraction, or it makes it complete. But also, in addition to that, the law of attraction only starts when the law of vibration is created. And to get success, after you do the attraction and it's in process, you must see that the law of action comes in. The law of action is the most important part of the whole equation. I love what James said. He said, a person without faith is like someone who stares himself or herself in the mirror and sees their reflection, but as soon as they walk away from the mirror, they forget what they look like. The highest expression of faith is action. The highest level of the law of attraction is action. Most people don't understand. It's not about wishing and thinking about what you want. It doesn't come that way. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you one of my quotes. True expectation, now think about this. True expectation, actually true thoughts, what you want is created. True thoughts, what you want is created. True expectation, it's sent to you. By action, you receive it. I'll say that again. By thoughts, what you want is created. By thought, by thinking, creating in your mind, what you want is created. Very simple. By expectation, which is faith, which is belief, which is the law of attraction in place, what you want is sent to you. By action, you receive it. So, if you take away the action, it means you don't receive anything. It's really that simple. And so the point I want to make as I conclude is this. The law of attraction is important to attracting anything you want in your life, but you must understand that the law of vibration must precede the law of attraction, and even more importantly, the law of action must follow the law of attraction. So if you want to achieve anything in life, create the thoughts in your mind. Replay that thoughts with emotion. The more you do that, the more you start to create a desire. You create a vibration by the way you feel. That vibration sets up the attraction. But to have that desire go from what we call an idea into a real and tangible form, you must be willing to take action. And it's the consistency of your action with faith, with expectation, that is what creates success. Now, I hope that's been useful.